Hello and welcome to the virtual Rotary 7620 District Conference General Session 3. As one last reminder, if you need assistance today during the webinar, please go to support.goto.com/webinar. And our MC for this evening will be Dave Vogel. Dave, thank you.
Can you see me now? Good evening. My name is Dave Vogel. I am the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Parole, and I'm the current Paul Harris Society chairperson for the district. I'd like to say good evening. I was going to start this out like Matthew McConaughey. I don't look like him, but I liked his line, you know, like, all right, all right, all right. But I wasn't in that movie. So instead, I'm going to start out with welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for being with us tonight. On behalf of District Governor Jimmy Gorski, Sue Weber, who organized our district conference this year, the organization team, and the district leadership, I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening and being part of our final session for the evening. We've had an amazing several days here, starting out with the Annapolis Rotary Club doing a drug collection or prescription drug collection on Wednesday, and we had an Earth Day collection of recyclables. We recycled 3.5 tons of paper and 1,200 pounds of computer equipment and a whole bunch of other stuff, and that was on Thursday. Then yesterday afternoon, we had an amazing round of golf. John Benish and his team set us up at Renditions Golf Course. We had a blast. The course played well. The greens played fast. I was the rodeo clown of golf once again. And it was a good day. We had good weather. We also had RLI classes yesterday that continued into the day. We had last night's session, which was truly outstanding. There were awards given, and I think you're going to find more of that this evening. And so we're ready to get started. Our speaker for this evening has changed. If you haven't looked at the agenda, we have a new speaker, and I'm going to have Carolyn Richards, who is the incoming president-elect of the Annapolis Rotary Club, introduce our speaker now. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday evening. So I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our speaker for this evening, Reverend Dr. Carletta Allen. As Dave said, my name is Carolyn Richards, and I'm the president-elect of the Rotary Club of Annapolis. So, Reverend Dr. Carletta Allen was born in Tampa, Florida, and raised in Japan, a now abandoned Air Force base right outside of Tokyo. Her family lived off base in an almost entirely Japanese neighborhood. It was there that her love of others was born. The brotherhood of man was something she internalized at an early age. Her family relocated back to the U.S. when she was 6.5, settling in Washington, D.C., where her stepfather continued his long military career at what is now Andrews Air Force Base. Carletta was educated primarily in public schools in Washington, D.C. and Prince George's County. She earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Behavioral Science from what is now known as University of Maryland Global Campus. Upon graduating, she immediately entered the Master of Divinity program at Wesley Theological Seminary, and while working 2 jobs, leading prison ministries in multiple locations, and raising a son, she graduated cum laude. 5 years later, she earned a Doctor of Minister degree, summa cum laude, from the same institution. Needless to say, education is a paramount value to Carletta. She was ordained a United Methodist Provisional Deacon in 1996 and an elder in 2002. She has served 4 appointments in the Baltimore, Washington Annual Conference, serving in suburban, rural, small town, and country and urban contexts has added a richness to her life and ministry. She has had to begin anew in each setting and get to know the people and the culture of each place. This is her greatest love as a pastor, being forced to move and to begin again, knowing that each place and people will be a blessing if she's open to being transformed. Carletta's interests are many, but they are held together by a common thread, an unwavering belief in the goodness of a divine creator and the manifestation of that goodness in all creation, human and otherwise. She seeks in all things to find the intersections that bind us together and reveal our wondrous interconnectedness. This core belief has led to her volunteer on numerous boards, agencies, and nonprofit organizations. In September of 2013, she was inducted into the Rotary Club of Annapolis. After serving on the board of directors, she was elected president and served in that capacity in the 2019-2020 term. In addition to various commissions and committees, she has served on the boards of the Annapolis Opera, the Lighthouse Shelter, Susanna Wesley House in Baltimore. She was also a member of the Anne Arundel County School Superintendent's Blue Ribbon Commission. She is the sole chaplain for the Office of the Sheriff of Anne Arundel County and a member of the Chaplains Corps of the Anne Arundel County Police. She is an active CASA for children in foster care and adores her 4 CASA kids. CASA standing for Court Appointed Special Advocate. She is the mother of 1 adult son, an honorably discharged Sergeant U.S. Marine Corps who served 3 tours in Iraq in 5 years. That son has blessed her with a 7-year-old grandson who is unspeakable joy to her. One of her favorite quotes is, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." It is my distinct pleasure in introducing Reverend Dr. Carletta Allen. Go ahead, Carletta.
Thank you. May I be heard?
Yes.
I'm not as familiar with this platform as I am Zoom. We all know about Zoom. Good evening, everybody, and I'm so glad you're here. It has been a wonderful couple of days. We are all adjusting to what has happened to the whole world over the past 14 months, and adjust we have. So it really is a privilege to be able to share some time with you tonight to talk about the topic I was given, diversity, and where do we go from here. I have been thinking about this for a long time. I am a proud baby boomers. Yay, baby boomers rock. And so I came of age at a wonderful time when an awful lot of barriers were being reduced and doors were being kicked open, opportunities were presenting themselves. And I was raised, as you heard, in a military family. And I was taught that this is America. If you study hard and work hard and play by the rules, you can be anything you want to be in America. That was the message in my home. That's what I was raised on. And as you can hear from that informal bio, I'm a worker bee. I am. I love to serve. I love to work. I love to be useful. And I grew up believing that if I studied hard and worked hard and played by the rules, I could be anything I wanted to be. And that has been true for me, as far as I know. It's been a wonderful life, and I anticipate a good bit more of it. But it wasn't until I got to seminary and started to study in a very different kind of way that I realized that American dream thing, that you can be anything you want to be in America if you study hard, work hard, and play by the rules, hadn't worked out for everybody. And so I began to wonder why. I immediately rejected those old worn excuses. Well, obviously they're lazy or they're not trying hard enough. It just seemed to me there had to be something more to it. And so from that time to now, I continue to explore that question. Why is that not true for everyone? When I was in junior high school, the schools in Prince George's County were integrated, excuse me, by court order. It wasn't something that PG County, because back then it was still PG County. It wasn't Prince George's yet. It was still PG County. And they weren't exactly throwing open the doors to welcome people who looked like me. Many of us who had moved over from Southeast Washington. But I didn't really understand all of that. I made friends, I set about to study, and I got busy, I got active. And I can remember serving on the Human Relations Commission, and it really was a wonderful time. And we had retreats and that kind of thing, because you see, we were the generation that was going to show the rest of you what this diversity, inclusion, equity thing looked like. It wasn't being called that back then, but we were going to show you how to do this, how to create this tapestry that this country is supposed to be. So here we are. So let me begin with how it is that I came to be in Rotary. As you heard, I'm a United Methodist, and United Methodists are much like military in that churches do not hire or fire us. We are moved by bishops. The bishop and the cabinet decides when and where you'll go. You get a call that says you're moving, and so you pack up your bags and off you go. And so I got a call about 10 years ago that I was going to Annapolis. What I knew about Annapolis was that it was a sailing town. Actually, I've been told that it's a drinking town with a sailing problem. And I knew the academy was here. That's what I knew about Annapolis. So I had a lot to learn. And when I got here, I was being introduced to the other Black clergy in the area, to the Black nonprofits, the leaders in the community, and it was all wonderful. But I said to my friend Chip, who was at that time the pastor of Calvary United Methodist Church on Route Boulevard, I said to Chip, where are the white people? I need to meet some white people. It's great that I'm meeting all of these African American leaders, but where are the white people? And Chip said, well, there are a lot of us at the Rotary Club. And I laughed and he laughed. Now, all I knew about Rotary at that time was that it had something to do with old men who got together and drank and smoked cigars and did something in the community. Just this vague idea of Rotary, but it had to do with old men and cigars and booze and service. So I said, well, I think I'm going to check out the Rotary then. And he said, well, you have to be invited. You can't just show up. I said, oh. And I waited for him to invite me. And he didn't. I said, Chip, are you going to invite me to the Rotary Club? He goes, like, you really want to come to the Rotary? I said, I really do. I want to meet people outside of this small cohort that I've already met. I want to meet the movers and the shakers. I want to meet the decision makers. I want to meet some other people. So he invited me to the Rotary Club of Annapolis. And I discovered that there were women there. I discovered that there were a few other people who had permanent tans. But I also discovered what Rotary was. I took myself to RLI 1 and I loved it, and I went to RLI 2 and I did all 3 levels of RLI in a year because I wanted to learn all I could about this Rotary thing. It was amazing. I had no idea about polio. I had no idea that that was an initiative started by bold Rotarians. Who knew? So I came to love Rotary, came to love being a member of Rotary International. It meant a lot to me. And so I got involved, I got busy, and all of that good stuff that I do. And so here we are tonight.
Carlotta, before you continue, we're having this odd ding go off, and I don't know if it's something on your computer, but it's happening like every 15 to 20 seconds. If you don't know what it is, you can keep going, but I just thought I would ask in case you happen to know what it may be.
I don't know what it may be, and it didn't happen last night. Can you still hear me?
We can still hear you. People are thinking it might be your charger. Are you on an iPad or anything?
No,
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt your talk. Okay, so we'll keep going, and hopefully we can just. It's a tone that just dings like every 20 seconds or so. So, in the off chance you have any ideas, but if not, you can keep going.
Okay. let me try something. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
I can't see you and I can't hear you because I just turned off my sound on my computer.
we can hear you well.
You want to type yes or no or show your face or?
We can hear you.
You were a thumbs up.
Okay, all right. I think it might have been an alert. I think that's what it might have been. All righty. If you missed Professor Talame's presentation last night, you missed a real treat. I mean, it was just fantastic. And I happen to love all of creation, and I love insects, and I love snakes, and my mother thought I was very strange, but what he was talking about was diversity. Diversity and all of creation, how interconnected we are, how much we need one another. Every species is dependent upon another species. And without the healthy interdependence of these various species, we all suffer. And he did a wonderful job of unpacking all of that and showing us in very real ways what that looks like. And I was reminded of a quote from Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. He said, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality." It was true then and it's true now. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. We are bound to one another, and the question is whether or not it will be in healthy ways or unhealthy ways. And so in thinking about diversity, of course, because I love Rotary, I went to our website to see what it was that we were saying as a global organization about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I will encourage you to go to the website and read some of this stuff for yourself. But this is what RI is saying about diversity, equity, and inclusion. As a global network that strives to build a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change, Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contributions of people of all backgrounds, regardless of their age, ethnicity, race, color, abilities, religion, socioeconomic status, culture, sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity. A top priority for Rotary is growing and diversifying our membership to make sure we reflect the communities we serve. We're creating an organization that is more open and inclusive, fair to all, builds goodwill, and benefits our communities. We want people with differing perspectives and ideas who will help Rotary take action to create lasting change in communities around the world. Through Rotary, you'll find unique opportunities to get involved. Everyone is welcome in Rotary. That is our official statement about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I believe we mean it, especially on a global level. When you get down to community, sometimes things change, but I believe that we believe it. The incoming RI president, Shikhar Mehta, and I hope I didn't butcher his first name, has urged members to become more involved in service projects. He says that caring and serving for others is the best way to live because it changes not only other people's lives, but also our own. And his theme is serve to change lives. He wants us to focus our efforts on empowering girls and ensuring their access to education so that they'll have the tools they need to succeed in life. He has asked us to use Rotary's belief that diversity, equity, inclusion is critical in all we do as a compass to guide this work. That is a noble cause. In the November 2020 issue of Rotary Magazine, there was a wonderful article about a Chicago Rotarian by the name of Xavier Ramey. And if you were in Toronto in 2018, you heard him. We were all blown away by this young man. What a phenomenal leader he is. And he has a wonderful story. And if you weren't in Toronto in 2018, you can go to the RI website, and all 15 minutes and 36 seconds of it is on the website. He is from the wonderful city of Chicago, Illinois, and boy, he just had us in the grip. over about 15 minutes, he talked about a lot of things. He quoted Martin Luther King, as I just did, and he said the key to creating an equitable society in America is a recognition of the tension that exists between the founding ideals of the United States and the ugly realities of the country's past, which includes slavery, the slaughter of indigenous people, and a system that often diminished the contributions of women and people of color. It's a refusal to acknowledge history, he insisted, that hampers any opportunity to create a more just future, as does any tamping down of conversations or protests about the inequities and challenges of the present. He challenged us. He said, we have much work to do in moving to the next phase of civic responsibility and global relationships. We must make the possible probable. We have a beautiful and important world to build if we can keep it, if we can keep ourselves, if we can love, if we can be life, if we can be together. Know that the fate of our very world depends upon it. And he finished to a standing ovation. The first question of the four-way test is it the truth? I am a person who has friends all across the spectrum. I don't think I have friends who are on the far extremes of the left and right, but I have friends who are all across the spectrum. I will listen to anyone, and I do mean that, anyone. I will sit down. I don't drink anymore myself, but I'll sit down, I'll buy a beer, I'll have my coffee. I will listen to anyone because I believe that you have something valuable to say, and I may not agree with it, but I believe you have something valuable to say. We are living in such a polarized time where we're not even listening to one another. And all we're hearing are the shrill voices on either extreme. And it isn't working. It just isn't working. We are doing great harm to ourselves, and we're doing great harm to our communities and to our country. I am a flag-waving patriot. My son is fourth generation military. I believe in this country. I believe in its ideals. And I understand when my friends on the more conservative side say, all that history, it's done. This is America. You know, if you just work hard and avail yourself of the opportunities, that can stay in the past. And I hear my friends on the more progressive side who say, we haven't done nearly enough. We live in an age when truth has become relative and individualistic. I have my truth, you have your truth. Whose truth is truthier? It's really a rather frightening time to live in. Old-fashioned virtues seem to have gone by the by. But what I know about Rotary, what I know about Rotarians, is that we take on the big things. We are bold. We go long. We are willing to roll our sleeves up and do the hard work. One of the things that the professor said last night was, you know, the whole environment thing looks so overwhelming. And sometimes we think, well, I mean, what can I do? I put my recycling out. I mean, there's really not much I can do. And he showed us and walked us through exactly what we can do to turn the tide of the kind of destruction that we are doing, what we can plant, what we cannot plant. He showed us how one garden can help the ecosystem in very powerful ways. Imagine if that was multiplied. And so we as Rotarians take on the hard tasks. We take on the big things. And one person, one life, one cup of coffee, one conversation at a time can have a huge impact if we do it right. As I'm sure many of you know, after Mandela was freed, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was created. It was a court-like restorative justice body assembled in South Africa after the end of apartheid. and witnesses who were identified as victims of gross human rights violations were invited to give statements. They were invited to give statements about their experiences, and some of them were selected for public hearings. Also, perpetrators of violence could also give testimony and request amnesty from both civil and criminal prosecution. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Now, this is not the same as the Nuremberg trials after World War II, which was about punishment. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission was designed to have the truth be told so that we can be reconciled to one another. And it can be argued that there hasn't been very much reconciliation or not enough reconciliation, but they did hold those hearings. One of the virtues that I believe is underrated in modern society is hospitality. As you know, I'm from the South, the deep South, and then the up South. Hospitality is defined as the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. And I think that for a lot of people in this country, they don't realize just how foreign many people feel, even people who were born here, even people who are third, fourth generation, and especially the more recent immigrants. People don't always feel welcome. People don't always feel as if there really is a place at the table for them. When I travel, I like to find a Rotary meeting. And what I have found is that Rotary is like church in a lot of ways. Every church believes it's a friendly church. Every church believes that. Every Rotary club believes it's a friendly Rotary club. I had visited enough churches, because when I travel, I also go to church. And I had visited enough churches and enough Rotary meetings to know that they're not all friendly. Hospitality is about actively engaging the stranger, actively welcoming them, being gracious towards them, having an expansive generosity towards them. And the truth is that there are people who, after all these years, still do not feel that hospitality, who still do not feel as if it is their home, even though they've been here all their lives. I want to share a story with you. And I've shared this story so many times, but it is still mind-boggling to me every time I read it. Andrew Harvey wrote a book called The Hope, A Guide to Sacred Activism. And he shares a story which is taken from the reports of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa. The story goes like this. The commissions brought an elderly Black woman face to face with the white man, Mr. Van der Broek, who had confessed to the savage torture and murder of her son and her husband a few years earlier. The old woman had been made to witness her husband's death. This isn't in the book, but they actually put, I don't remember now if it was the husband or the son, on a spit. They impaled him on a spit. And she was made to watch that. The last words her husband spoke were, "Father, forgive them." One of the members of the commission turned to her and asked, "How do you believe justice should be done to this man who has inflicted such suffering on you and so brutally destroyed your family?" The old woman replied, "I want three things. I want first to be taken to the place where my husband's body was burned so that I can gather up the dust and give his remains a decent burial." She stopped, collected herself, and then went on. "My husband and son were my only family. I want secondly, therefore, for Mr. Van der Broek to become my son. I would like for him to come twice a month to the ghetto and spend a day with me so that I can pour out to him whatever love I have still remaining with me. And finally, I want a third thing. I would like Mr. Vanderbroek to know that I offer him my forgiveness because Jesus Christ died to forgive. This was also the wish of my husband. And so I would kindly ask someone to come to my side and lead me across the courtroom so that I can take Mr. Vanderbroek in my arms, embrace him, and let him know that he is truly forgiven. Mr. Vanderbroek, overwhelmed by what he had just heard, fainted. Nothing in his brutal and degraded past could have prepared Mr. Vanderbroek for what the Black woman gave him in return. Not fury, not a call for his execution, but unconditional forgiveness and reclaiming of him into the human family and into her own family. And the sacred power flowing through her because of the humility and faith did not merely move Mr. Vanderbroek. It fell on him like an invisible lightning from a dimension of pure love he might never have begun to suspect existed. In that moment, two extraordinary journeys, both terrible in different ways, intersected in an explosion of healing. I hear my friends say, that's all behind us. Look how far we've come. Look at the opportunities that are available. Look at your own life. Look at what this country is capable of. There's a reason that people risk their lives to come here, even without the proper documentation. This is America. And I would agree. I would certainly agree. And yet, we are far from healing. We haven't even begun. And we have spoken for a long time in very binary terms of Black and white. We hardly ever mention the Native. We are starting to talk about the Spanish speakers in our midst. We're starting to talk about violence against Asians. The very things that made this country the powerhouse that it is, the place people want to come to, that same impulse to grow, to expand, to dominate, continues to do harm to some of those among us. And so what you and I get to do as Rotarians is to do what we know how to do, to be humble and to be in service, to invite people, whether they look like us or not, to open up places for people to be, to open up ways for people to gather, to look at our bylaws and our ways of doing things and asking, are we an exclusive club or are we a place of hospitality for the world? I grew up with people from all over the world, and I love to travel. I love to meet people from all over the world still, and I think I always will, as long as I have the strength to do it. But not everyone does. And there are places that, and I think without even realizing it, have excluded. Sometimes it's our systems that bake in the exclusion. Sometimes it's our locations, but are we willing to be a global household that knows how to extend hospitality, one meal, one cup of coffee, one beer at a time? We know how to do that. I'll close with another story. I was invited to hear a group of women here in Annapolis in the county who are trying to do something. They just feel like, the time is right. They should be doing something. And they wanted me to hear them out, and I did. And after a very long time, I asked this question: how many of you have a Black friend? And not a one did. I said, well, you might want to start there. Before you talk about what your organization can do to help, you might want to start with breaking bread with someone who doesn't look like you. And one of the ladies, bless her heart, said, I live in Severna Park. And I said to her, believe it or not, there are Black people in Severna Park. Go find them. Go to the library, go to the grocery store. They're there. Strike up a conversation. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Go to the NAACP. There are lots of white people over at the county NAACP. Go there. You won't be the only one. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Be willing to be the stranger. Be willing to be the other. We are Rotarians. We know how to bring people together. We know how to build people up. We know how to create opportunities. We know how to do this. The question is whether or not we have the will to do it. I hope we do. So I'll stop talking now and open it up for questions and comments.
Just a reminder to the audience, you can use the question panel and we can read those to Carletta. Thank you. Okay, Carletta, the first question is, how do you, in your own words, describe the difference between equity, equality, and justice?
I don't. And I say that not to be flippant, but we can parse words all day long. And there are people who've done that. There are books that are written. I can give you websites to go to, but I don't, because I do not believe that it gets to the heart of what needs to happen. On a policy level, I think there are people who need to be very clear in defining those terms and making the distinctions, but I do not work at that level.
Okay, next up, I think someone would like to know the name of the man you mentioned in Toronto again. I think they want to write it down.
A man in Toronto?
Yes, the name of the young man you mentioned at the beginning of your speech. Can you repeat his name?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, his name is Xavier, Xavier Ramey, Ramey. And if you go to the RI website, there is an article, as I said, it was in the November 2020 issue of Rotary Magazine. And the title of the article on the website is "In a Time of Social Upheaval, Where Should America Go?" But if you drop his name in the search box, chances are that's the article that will come up. And that is also where you will find the video of his presentation.
Okay, we have a note here. Sorry, this isn't a question, Carla. This is just a note. For those who would like to further discuss this, looks like Capitol Hill is sponsoring a club, a district-wide event on Tuesday at 7:30 on Zoom. It's on the district calendar in DACDB, and it's called Reimagining Service Above Self, Advancing Racial Equity and Deepening Our Impact. Thank you, Colin. You said some powerful things about immigration, but how do we make others understand exactly what you said? Some people just don't get it.
I'm a law enforcement chaplain. I was raised to believe that people who wear uniforms were my heroes and protectors. And so I spend a good bit of time with people who are law and order oriented. And so I hear friends and colleagues who say that they're not opposed to immigration, they're opposed to illegal entry into the country. It comes down to the legality of it. They will swear that it has nothing to do with not having compassion for them and not having compassion for the circumstances they're leaving. But there is a right way. That's a quote. There's a right way to do it. And they should get in line and take their turn and do it in the right way. And I wish that every middle-class American could spend a few weeks in some of the worst places on the planet to really understand the desperation of a lot of people. I mean, a kind of desperation that we can't even get to because of our relative comfort. It isn't that they are mean and cruel people. It's just that they believe there's a right way to do it. And so that's, again, we go back to policy. I mean, we need to have, I personally think that we need to have a complete overhaul of our immigration policy. And we also need to be mindful of the fact that when large numbers of people enter communities, it changes those communities. I mean, you need schools and you need housing and you need to account for all of that influx. So those are real concerns. But nationally and locally, we don't have a cohesive policy. So I don't think that it's just meanness all the time. But for people for whom there is a right and the wrong way to do that, there's really not much convincing them.
Thank you. Next question is, what is the role of religion in creating justice for all, and how can Rotary support DEI with such major differences in beliefs?
Which religion? Yeah,
It didn't specify.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. When I was doing my doctoral work, one of the women in my cohort had been writing a book for years, and that's why somebody said, "Why don't you just do the doctoral program and actually get some credit for it?" And so she did, but I don't remember the title now, but it was something along the lines of that the Bible, especially what we call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, is an immigration manifesto. But if you really want to know what the God of our understanding believes and how God feels about immigrants, then just read the Bible, especially the Old Testament. And she was very passionate about that. She was the kind of person who let illegal immigrants live in tents on the parsonage property. I mean, she was radical, but she really believed that we are called to look after, to accept, and to be hospitable. Hospitality is one of the highest values in antiquity. You welcome the stranger. You made sure that they were cared for. You made sure that they were protected while they were in your care. So it all depends on what religion, what flavor of religion, which way it leans, all of that is involved. But I happen to, I mean, I'm not going to set up a tent city on the parsonage backyard, but I happen to agree with my friend that our scripture, our holy books are very clear about what to do with the aliens in our midst.
Thank you. I would love to visit your church in Annapolis. What is its name again?
Asbury, Asbury. There are a lot of Methodist churches called Asbury. He was our first American bishop, and we are right in the heart of the city. 87 West Street. We are not worshiping in person yet.
We would love to have greater racial diversity in our club, but it seems to be very hard to attract that first Black/Hispanic/other to be the first. Do you have any suggestions about how we might attract others to join us?
Where are they? Go where they are. Meet them. Meet them where they are. Again, as I said, Rotary and church, at least my expression of church, are very similar. We expect people to come to us, and then they come and we're not always so friendly, but that's another story for another day. Go where they are. Where are they? Get to know them. Let them get to know you. Do things with them. Do fun things with them. Eat with them, play with them, do service projects together. Let them get to know you and what wonderful people you are. And I will add this, and in a mutual way, because an awful lot of what we do is going to help people, which makes us feel good, and people appreciate the help. We go help people and then we leave. So we are always in that position of power and privilege. It's not an equal relationship. Meet people where they are. And again, be willing to be uncomfortable. Be willing to be the other. Be willing to be the minority. And once they get to know what wonderful people you are and that you are part of this thing called Rotary, they might be more welcome. They might be more willing to come.
Thank you. And we have one last question here. Do you have any resources or suggestions for having conversations with children regarding the topic of diversity?
I'm not sure children need resources. When I went to Japan, I was 4, and we lived off base because at that time, I don't know about now, but in the 60s, the armed forces were encouraging people to live off base, live in the neighborhoods, live in the communities, learn the language if you can. Let people get to know, again, go where they are. Let people get to know these Americans, these Yankees, let them see how wonderful we are. And so we lived off base in one of those communities. There was not, when I first moved there, there was only one other American family and their baby was 8 months old. And so all of my playmates were Japanese and we got along fine. I didn't speak the language for a while, but we got along fine. Children know how to do this until we teach them not to. The children know how to do this. Children just start playing. It's how they learn. And it's how they learn about one another. They just start playing, which is why I encourage us to go someplace and play with people and then have a barbecue. It isn't rocket science. Yes, national policy, that's some pretty heady stuff. But we have boots on the ground. This shouldn't be hard for us if we're willing.
Okay, I do have one more, but before I get to that last question, we've had a few comments come in that have asked you to come speak to their club. Are you okay with me putting your email address in the chat for everyone, Carletta?
Cool thing.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And so we had one more question come in, and we seem to have time, so I'm going to get this in. Certain members of your club expect you to make radical changes for being the first Black, Hispanic, other president of your club. How do you overcome those expectations?
I didn't know that I was the first Black president of the Rotary Club of Annapolis until we were interviewed by the local radio station. We were interviewed by WNAB. Every year we do that in anticipation of our crab feast. And it was the interviewer who asked me about being the first African-American president. And I turned to Mary and said, am I the first? And she said, I don't know. I did not know it until that moment. So I said to the interviewer, well, I didn't know I was, and I'm pretty sure that they did not elect me because I'm Black. I think that they elected me because I love Rotary. I'm active. I give back. Service above self. I have leadership abilities. I'm pretty sure that's why they elected me. And that wasn't what she wanted to hear. We went to break and she had a little conversation with me about how this was really important and people needed to hear. And so we went that way for a little while, but I didn't feel any pressure being the first Black president of the Rotary Club of Annapolis. I didn't put any on myself and I didn't feel any. Now, that was my context. So I don't know that it's true always and everywhere. That isn't the truth. Always and everywhere that people have these expectations of us because we are the first of an ethnic minority. I'm just not sure that is always true. It wasn't true for me. I'm sorry, that email address is going to be archived after this year. So let's give them my Asbury1 email. Asbury, ASBURY, the number 1, pastor at gmail.com. Asbury1pastor at gmail.com. So to those of you who are the first who are feeling that kind of pressure, I would say, ask people. Ask people if that is true, if they have a higher level of expectation for you. And if they say yes, you've got a problem. And if they say no, believe them.
Thank you, Carletta. I'm now going to invite Carolyn to come back on.
Thank you so much, Carletta. That was an amazing conversation. I appreciate it. Everything that you say is so heartfelt, and saying that everyone is welcome and actively welcoming people. That's why I joined Rotary, to be around happy people, and I never felt so welcomed in my entire professional and personal life. I am extremely privileged to follow you. I'm president-elect this year. I'll be the 9th woman president of the Rotary Club of Annapolis, and I just feel honored to be able to follow Carletta, Sue Weber, and the other women who have participated. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you've done and for your incredible speech. I'd like to say this Rotary year, the Rotary Club of Frederick in District 7620 celebrated its 100th year of service. To honor our conference speakers, the club has made a gift to the Rotary Foundation in the focus area of the speaker's choice. Reverend Dr. Allen has selected the focus area of economic and development. We thank our distinguished speaker and the Rotary Club of Frederick. Thank you. Back to Dave.
Well, I'm back. There you go. Who knew? I have a story, and I got a chance to tell it, and it's about Carletta and the fact that, like Carletta, I'm a boomer, and like Carletta, I was the president of my club, 2019, 2020, and I was fortunate, and I told the outreach, or not the outreach, the breakout room that we were in today, that that both RLI and PETS is really important. It allows you to build your network. It allows you to make friends across Rotary that you didn't have before you went there. And so I'll tell all of you that I met Carletta first at CPETS, then at PETS, where we shared a fan, right, Carletta? And we have been friends ever since, and I've been so fortunate that I was able to meet her and participate the same year that she did. And we actually did a bunch of projects together. So that's what Rotary is about. Rotary builds leaders. Rotary builds friends. So with that, I'm going to bring on Dawn Whitfield. Dawn is going to talk to us about club awards. So Dawn, over to you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dawn Whitfield, obviously, thank you, and I'm a member of the Sykesville South Carroll Club. I'm the co-chair for the District Awards Program, along with Mary Leahy of the Southern Anne Arundel Club. Each year, the District Awards are presented to recognize our clubs who have had outstanding performance throughout the year, and I'll be announcing the clubs and the awards that they have qualified for in just a few minutes. So the clubs in our district do such an amazing amount of work to help change lives and create lasting change in our communities. Rotarians, as we know, are people of action. And looking at all the projects and how successfully our clubs pivoted when it became necessary, that has never been more evident. It is so great to see that even under the hardest of times, the Rotary clubs in our district have stepped up and are just as active as ever. So many clubs have risen to the occasion and donated PPE to medical professionals and individuals, sewed masks, provided food for those most affected by the pandemic, provided assistance for those needing help, paid for living expenses, and all sorts of impactful projects, both locally and globally. This year, clubs are honored for high achievement in the areas of public image, membership, and club excellence, as well as a new category for this year, the Enviro Club Service Award. The district awards criteria are set up in alignment with each Rotary International President's annual theme and goals, and the presidential citation, and our district governor's annual goals. And there are 3 levels of achievement in each category: bronze, silver, and gold. The points are accrued according to certain tasks being completed, such as member attraction and retention, partnering with other clubs on projects, promoting the clubs through traditional and social media, having virtual membership drives, Rotary informational programs virtually as well, and engaging your members and inviting guests to learn about Rotary and what we do. Nearly all of our clubs already do most of the criteria, as a matter of course. So the criteria for the membership award, and some of the criteria includes having a membership chair, having a clear membership plan that covers orientation and retention strategies, having your club complete a member survey, having a membership event, tuning into membership trainings, sponsoring a satellite club or an Interact or Rotaract, and some other activities are among those criteria. For the public image, the criteria includes having a PR chair and a written PR goals plan for your club, submitting articles to be published in a monthly newsletter, the Open Forum, properly promoting your club and events, having an up-to-date website and social media presence, and his new projects onto the Rotary Showcase section of Rotary.org. The criteria for club excellence includes a little bit of everything: establishing a 3-year plan, sending out a club newsletter for your own personal club newsletter, encouraging your members to attend the district conference, as you all are tonight, or completing the training program for the Rotary Leadership Institute, or RLI, sponsoring a joint project with other clubs or organizations, sponsoring or hosting a youth exchange student, global grant scholar, or peace fellow, having sponsoring scholarship programs at local schools, and also supporting Polio Plus, the Rotary Foundation, and the Every Rotarian Every Year plan. So we all know the Rotary causes: promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, saving mothers and children, supporting education, and growing local economies. And Rotary has now added a 7th cause: protecting the environment. And our district has also stepped up to create a rule to reflect that as well. So Christopher Puttock came forward with the organization of this new award program for the district. He really put a lot of thought and effort into it to raise awareness and help clubs to be recognized for the environmental projects that they complete. Excuse me, one of the requirements of this award is to have an environmental committee in your club and have members join SRAG, which is the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. And this action group has really taken off. It now has more than 1,000 members worldwide in just a very short time. So that's really, really amazing. And just imagine the connections there. So with Chris's cover page, he says we should all be aware of the many environmental problems facing the world, such as loss of biodiversity, habitat and ecosystem services, security of energy, food and water, management of waste, pollution, and factors leading to climate change. Rotary is in an ideal position to take leadership to ensure that the world we leave to the next generation is no worse, if not better, than that which we inherited. Environmental sustainability is an important and current issue worldwide, affecting everyone. Candy Apiden is the chair of the Enviro Club Award, and so she's put a lot of work in there as well to help Chris with this. And so in the outline, it also kind of explains how, it got started. So we were part of that. It says the Enviro Club Service Awards have been adapted from a successful environmental awards program in the United Kingdom. In this program, clubs register environmentally sustainable initiatives, such as their activities, projects, programs, and events, and are encouraged to improve these through a series of awards, starting with bronze and moving on to silver and gold, just like the other awards. Individual Rotarians are also encouraged to be catalysts for environmental action in their communities. So some initiative ideas: litter cleanup, building a vegetable garden at local schools, planting trees, selling bee-friendly plants at local markets, install renewable energy systems in schools or community centers, support projects that build water tanks for homes in developing countries, include an environmental column in your club newspaper, organize a club social night, and have a environmental focus, and maybe we'll have, play a movie. And then another one that's really been taking off in our district is planting a butterfly garden in partnership with the Monarch Sister Schools program. That is run by Mary Ann Bischlager of the Baltimore Sunset Club, and I spoke with her today, and she told me that by the end of the year, they're going to have 20 butterfly gardens built put up all around our district. So that's really a great program as well. So now on to our awards recognition. This year we had 21 clubs earn awards from the initial 3 categories. 9 of those clubs earned gold awards in all 3 categories. And we had 18 clubs earn the new Enviro Club award. So that's really awesome. So if we could flip over to the slides. Yep, I think looks like we're ready to go there. We'll go
Hey,
down.
Dawn, before
Yeah.
you get started, do you mind taking out your headphones and trying without your headphones? We're getting quite a few reports that you sound kind of garbled on their end, so I'm wondering if that'll help a
Okay,
little
is that
bit.
any better?
Can you talk one more time for me?
Is that any better?
I don't think it's much different. But hopefully with the words in the gold, silver, bronze, it'll come through more clearly.
Well, do you want to just announce them as you read through them then? Because you're loud and clear.
I'm happy to do that if that would be helpful to you.
Yeah, if it sounds better, go ahead.
Okay, give me one moment. For the Rotary Club of Annapolis, we have gold in Club Excellence, gold in Public Image, and gold in Membership. Also, I'll leave these up for a second because I know a lot of clubs like to take pictures when they're on the screen. So I will pause to give you that moment. I can also send you the graphics if that would be helpful. Baltimore Sunset gets a bronze in the Enviro Club award. Bethesda Chevy Chase, silver in Club Excellence, gold in Public Image, and gold in Membership. Rotary Club of Capitol Hill, silver in Excellence, bronze in Public Image, and bronze in Membership. Rotary Club of Carroll Creek, gold in Club Excellence, gold in Public Image, gold in Membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. Charles County La Plata, bronze in Enviro Club. Rotary Club of College Park, silver in Club Excellence, gold in Public Image, and bronze in Enviro Club. Columbia Tau Center, Enviro Club, bronze. Columbia Patuxent, gold in Club Excellence, gold in Public Image, gold in Membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. Downtown Silver Spring, bronze in Enviro Club. DuPont Circle, bronze in Club Excellence, silver in Public Image, and bronze in Membership. Rotary Club of Frederick, gold in Club Excellence, gold in Public Image, and gold in Membership. Rotary Club of Gaithersburg, bronze in Enviro Club. Rotary Club of Glen Burnie, gold in Club Excellence, gold in Public Image, and gold in Membership. Lexington Park, gold in club excellence, gold in public image, gold in membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. Metro Bethesda, gold in club excellence, gold in public image, gold in membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. The Rotary Club of Mount Airy, bronze in club excellence, gold in public image, bronze in membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. Rotary Club of Newmarket, bronze in club excellence, bronze in public image, and silver in membership. The Oakdale Interact Club, bronze in Enviro Club. Rotary Club of Parole Annapolis, gold in club excellence, gold in public image, gold in membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. Rotary Club of Rockville, silver in club excellence, silver in public image, gold in membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. Rotary Club of Smoketown, Brunswick, bronze in Enviro Club. South Anne Arundel, silver in excellence and silver in public image. Rotary Club of Southern Frederick County, gold in club excellence, gold in public image, gold in membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. Rotary Club of Sykesville in South Carroll, bronze club excellence and bronze public image. Rotary Club of Towsontown, bronze in club excellence, bronze in public image, bronze in membership. The Rotary Club of Washington, D.C., gold in excellence, gold in public image, gold in membership, and bronze in Enviro Club. The Rotary Club of Washington Global, bronze in club excellence, gold in public image, and gold in membership.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ashley, for that. I apologize for the sound. I just want to say congratulations to all of the clubs who qualified for the awards. You should be very proud of your achievements, and you should let everybody know that your clubs are so great. You should already have received your patches and banner in the mail, and what are you going to do with them? Display them on your social media, take a picture, put them on your website, send a press release to your local newspaper. Let your community know how great your club is. Who's not attracted to join and participate in an organization that shows a proven track record of successes? The district awards form is also a great tool to use when planning the next Rotary year. So you can use that for a guide to help your club complete more of the criteria and earn a higher level of recognition. Also, recognition of the environmental initiatives with the Enviro Club Award can help increase income to your club, hopefully through community grants and intimate partnerships with Rotary clubs, businesses, and community groups in your local community. So definitely get the word out there and let everybody know what your projects are and that you are award-winning clubs. We may not be meeting in person right now, but you can still showcase your club's achievements very effectively. So congratulations to all the clubs who earned awards for this year. Don't forget, you still have time to qualify for the Rotary International Presidential Citation through June 30th. So take a look to see if your club has completed at least 13 goals that were selected by your club president. Well, that completes this awards presentation. Great job, everyone. Congrats again, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
If everyone can just hold for one moment, I believe we lost our MC at the DoubleTree. So we will work to get them back in 1 moment. Thank you. When we get them back in, I'm going to put our DG line here a little bit on the fly. Sean, may I ask for you to introduce RI Director Peter Kyle to keep us moving?
Sure. So everybody, I'd like to introduce our a fellow Rotarian of mine from the Rotary Club of Capitol Hill that I've known for many years, an accomplished Rotarian that has years that goes back from being an RI Rotary International Ambassador Scholar to having been our past district governor to being our current Rotary International Director, Peter Kyle. He has an extensive wealth of experience, and I know that we're going to hear a lot of great things from him. So Peter, please take it away.
Great. Well, thank you, Sean. That was a good step in for someone who wasn't expecting to do that. But as you say, we've known each other for a long time, and I guess we know each other's background very well. So let me say it's a pleasure to be with you all tonight. And I want to start by giving a very sincere congratulations to District Governor Jimmy. This is my 4th district conference this weekend. I know very well how difficult and how complicated it is to prepare district conferences. And this has been excellent. I've been in and out quite a lot. I haven't been able to stay for very long. I've had some technical issues. I was able to listen to some of the breakouts. I listened to some of the speeches last night, and I heard the tail end of Carletta. And when I look at the agenda, the depth of discussions, the breakouts that you've had, the plenary sessions, really a lot of preparation. So congratulations, Jimmy, to Sue Weber, to Ashley Waters, and to all those behind the scenes. I don't know who else was involved. I imagine Geeta and Sean, well, I know Sean was involved, and Dolores. Congratulations on a job well done. So District 7620 is in good heart. We're doing very well in terms of membership. In fact, we are leading in the other 15 districts in our zone. We are the top performing district for membership, which is fabulous. But we need to keep it up. We are still overall, the zone is down. North America is down. We have a number of potential clubs in the pipeline. So I hope between now and the end of June, we can bring some of those clubs to charter status so that we improve on our membership statistics. We're also doing very well in terms of giving. I think you probably heard from Rich Glover. We're having $1 million dinner in November. And from what I hear, that is already going to be a very successful event. I'd like to congratulate Rich on becoming a Service Above Self awardee. That's the highest award Rotary International can give. Very well deserved. Rich has been in the trenches for many years. And in the last few years, of course, as our DRFC has done a tremendous job at getting our DRSC finances in shape, attending to global grants, and doing all the other things to maintain our standing with the Rotary Foundation. So well done, Rich. I'd also like to congratulate the awardees who've just received excellence awards in different categories. Well done. Takes a lot of work to get some of those awards. And I was impressed that quite a number of clubs received gold awards in all categories. So congratulations to all those who received awards. I don't want to speak too long because you've had lots of speeches. I do want to mention the third presidential conference, which is being held virtually over the weekend of May the 14th to 16th. It's being organized by Rotaract in Zone 33. They have done a fabulous job. This really is a very impressive group of people. They go under the name of Ascension Rotaract. Go online, sign up, it's free. And I think you'll be enormously impressed, again, at the range of discussions and breakouts that have been arranged. The entertainment, the attention to detail, fabulous. And I also want to mention, if I may, the annual Rotary Zone Institute, which is being held in Naples, Florida at the end of September. This is the annual event for the two zones, 33 and 34. This also is going to be a fabulous event. The hotel is the Naples Grand Resort Hotel, 5-star plus. We have a very good rate. I hope that 7620 will be well represented. It's a long way to go down to Naples, but I can assure you, you're going to have a great time, and it's a very reasonable rate. So I look forward to seeing you in Naples. I look forward to seeing you at the May conference. I congratulate all of those who have received awards, and I congratulate those who have stayed for the duration of this conference. I see that there are still, I think, 93 people on the screen. That's pretty impressive. So again, thank you all. Thank you for your support individually. I'm available to attend meetings and give speeches. That's what I'm paid the big bucks to do as a Rotary International Director. So if you're looking for presentations, bear me in mind. That's, as I say, what I'm supposed to be doing. So with that, I'll pass it back to whoever is moderating. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so Carolyn should be coming on here shortly. Just give us one moment. For our final two pieces, we're going to talk about Rotary Fellowships, and then DG Jimmy will give her closing remarks. Thank you for your patience, folks. Our DoubleTree people are getting booted a few times, so we're trying one more time before we just go to Jimmy. Patience, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Oops. Sorry to keep you waiting, but this is worth the wait, I promise. I just want to congratulate all the clubs and their success. And your hard work has truly paid off. And now, if you can just give me a few minutes of your time, maybe you can all learn something new about what Rotary has to offer you. Rotary Fellowships are international groups that share a common passion. And being a part of a fellowship is a fun way to make friends around the world, explore a hobby or profession, and enhance your Rotary experience. If you have ever attended a Rotary International Conference, you will find the fellowships in the House of Friendship. If you are not familiar with the House of Friendship, then hopefully you will find a fellowship of interest here and look into more details about it. Most fellowships are not only offered to Rotarians, but they're also open to guests as well. Ashley, if you could catch up to the slides. Thanks. Next slide. Thanks. So we have over 75 fellowships, and I promise I'm not going to go into much detail about all of them, but the first few are, there's an amateur radio fellowship, antique automobiles, bathhouse, that's an odd one, beard and mustaches, I can't join that, bee keepers, beer lovers, bird watching, caravanning, and chess. We also have a fellowship for computer users, corporate social responsibility, cricket, and cruising. And the cruising fellowship has over 200 members, and they actually plan several cruises throughout the year. So you can go on a cruise, maybe not knowing anyone, but knowing that you're going to meet up with some fellow Rotarians and explore different parts of the world. We also have a fellowship on cultural heritage and curling. And there's actually a competition that is held every 2 years to determine the Rotarian championship or champion of the curling fellowship. We have a cycling fellowship, doll lovers, e-clubs, editors and publishers, and environment. There's also a fellowship on ethics, European philosophy, executive managers, fishing, and fishing is one of the larger fellowships with about 466 members. There's one for flying and pilots and genealogists, and this one is especially close to my heart. You might have read about us in the Rotary magazine 2 issues ago. The fellowships are not very expensive at all. In fact, the genealogist fellowship is only $10 a year. And for your $10, you get free access to forms. Professional genealogists will actually help answer your questions. And we also have a newsletter that goes out 4 times a year, and we have a virtual meeting 4 times a year for about an hour and a half. So we're there to help you, and I hope you'll join me in that genealogist fellowship. Moving on, for all gin lovers, there's a gin fellowship. And here's a new one that I bet most of you have never even heard of. It's called Go. And this was a game invented in China. It's an abstract strategy board game for 2 players in which the aim is to surround more territory than the opponent. Being 2,500 years old, it is believed to be the oldest board game continuously played to the present day. We also have golf. Maybe some of the people that played in the tournament on Friday would want to enter into the golf tournaments. And there's also one on gourmet cooking. And this fellowship is sharing the love for the table, the food, and the wine. There's also a fellowship for graphic designers, which has about 417 members in it. Healthcare professionals, hiking. There's usually a hiking trip planned at all the RI conventions, and it has about 325 members. Home exchange. This is something new and becoming very popular, where you swap homes with someone in the country, and you obviously you swap with another Rotarian for to see somewhere in the world that you would wish to visit. We have honorary consuls, internet, which is Rotarians on the internet, Italian culture, which is another large fellowship, jazz, which is an international Rotary big band. We have Latin culture and lawyers. There's also, which is relatively new, LGBTQ fellowship, which is promoting global friendship, and magicians. And please, if you need entertainment for a Rotary Club meeting or an event, or even in your work environment, please consider hiring one of the magicians. A lot of corporations are doing that right now to provide entertainment. There's also a fellowship, Magna Gracia, which are Rotarians from around the world interested in Greek, Roman, Italian, and Southern Italy roots of modern culture. We can't forget about marathon running. Again, you'll see this at all the RI conferences. Metalheads, military veterans, which is also another very large fellowship, and motorcycling. That's a very large group with chapters all over the world, and I know that past district governor Rich Glover is a member of that fellowship. Moving on, we have a fellowship for music, which they are encouraging clubs to sing. Past district governors, peace fellows, photographers, and the Rotarian magazine even holds an annual contest. And I know that from the Annapolis Club that Don Rowland and Dick Sweeney should be entering that contest. There's a fellowship on police and law enforcement, public health, quilters and fiber artists, and railroad. Interest in railroading in any format, type, size, or related interest. There's also a fellowship for recreational vehicles. Rotary Global History is another fellowship. And this is where they offer history training of the Rotary movement for Rotary leaders. There's Rotary Heritage and History, and Rotary Means Business. And this focuses on doing business with other Rotarians and referring them to others. There's also a fellowship on Rotary pins. And again, if you attend an RI conference, there are pins everywhere. We have a fellowship on rowing, scouting, scuba, which is another very large fellowship. And there's the Shooting Sport Fellowship, and they have an annual spring clay shoot in Florida. And there's also a fellowship for singles. We also have a fellowship for skiing. They have ski trips that they plan around the world with other Rotarians, and actually a lot of them are planned in Colorado. Social networks and surfing. And this is not only about getting up on a board. It's more than that. It includes cleaning up the shoreline, the beach, and the rivers. We also have table tennis. Again, this is something where they will have competitions at the big RI conferences. And of course, tennis. Also, match play can be found at the conventions. There's travel and hosting, triathlons, wellness and fitness, and whiskey. which is abbreviated DRAM. It's Whiskey Drinking Rotarians and Members. Again, all fellowships are open to not only Rotarians, but guests as well. And in DRAM, you can learn all about whiskeys from around the world, including bourbon, scotch, rye, sour mash, and we can't forget moonshine. And I know that that Sean McAllister is a member of the Whiskey Fellowship. And for instance, this fellowship, it costs $35 a year. So these fellowships are not breaking the bank. Moving on, we have wildlife conservation, wine, where you can learn all about wines and food pairing. And that fellowship is $26 a year. And yachting, the oldest fellowship that has been active since 1947 with over 3,685 members. And last but not least, we have yoga. Again, fellowships are not just for Rotarians. And please consider joining a fellowship to learn more about your passions that you share with other Rotarians around the globe. You can't go wrong, I promise. You consider genealogy. It's really a great gift to leave your family members. Okay, Dave, back to you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys, they made me promise not to touch the computer, because this is the third one I've tried today. So, without further ado, our next speaker, and our last speaker, is our district governor, Jimmy Gorski, who will be delivering our closing commentaries. So take it over, Jimmy.
Okay, all right. And here. All right. Okay. Thank you, Rotarians and Rotaractors and Interactors and guests. Thanks for spending your weekend with us. I really want to highlight our keynote speakers. They were all wonderful. Heard so many good reports from Doug, Camry, and also from Dr. Staff Warren and the Reverend Dr. Carletta Allen. And just to reiterate, through the generosity of the Frederick Club, the Rotary Club of Frederick, in District 7620, celebrating their 100th year of service this year, each of the speakers was given a very generous gift to the Rotary Foundation and the focus area of the speaker's choice. And we thank our distinguished speakers, and we thank especially our Rotary Club of Frederick. And our MCs, they were all great. Andy Baum last night from Carroll Creek, and Kate Dawson this morning. And then also, that was from the Rotaract Club of Annapolis. And then Dave Vogel from the Rotary Club of Parole. In terms of our district conference members, I have not formally thanked you yet, and I definitely want to do that for finding excellent speakers and breakout sessions, and also for the foresight to structure a Plan B virtual program to accommodate our conference. So many of the districts in the zone didn't do that, and they were caught a bit short, but not with our committee. They had a Plan A and a Plan B. So we had, when we realized we had to go to Plan B, we were really all planned in that area. Carolyn Richards, Henry Reiser, David Vogel, Ashley Waters, and Sue Weber. That's the committee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, thank you for the pre-conference activities. The Annapolis Club for hosting the drug drop disposal, for the Parole Club hosting the Recycle Day. And then thanks to my home club, the Upper Marlboro Rotary, and especially to Andy Kalivas and John Vintage Jr. for continuing the tradition of the golf outing held at the district conference. That was started by the late district governor in 1973 and 4, Roland Cumberland. He was a member of our club, and past District Governor Roland was the person who asked me to serve as club president for Rotary's centennial year. He presented me with a personalized, prepared binder called Roland's Guide to Being an Outstanding Club President, and I still have that today. And he sent me on my way toward the district governor position, a goal at that time I hardly knew I had. That was a long time ago. Thanks, though, Roland. And thanks for all who are attending the virtual Rotary Leadership Institute programs 1, 2, and 3. As Sean McAllister mentioned, he's our district governor nominee and also the district committee chair for RLI. All 3 of those areas or parts were completely filled. And we were one of the first districts. I think there was another one who had virtual RLI programs today, but I believe Sean said we started a little bit earlier than they did. So maybe we're still the first. And we had wonderful facilitators and producers who made the programs possible. And we were, as I said, completely subscribed. So let's keep that up. I think as a former educator, we have to remember that we need to be educated in something that's important to us, and we need to be educated well in what Rotary does. Okay, the next group of awards goes to 5 outstanding past district governors for their steady advice and wise counsel. The first award goes to past District Governor Andy Baum, District 7620's representatives to the Council on Legislation, an able member of the 2021 Bylaws Committee, the Council of Governors, advisor to the Office of the District Governor. This award is presented with sincere appreciation, Andy. Past District Governor Claude Marset, thank you for your able guidance as chair of the Council of Governors, and also for the business meeting today for the bylaws review and voting, and for a 2-year term as chair of the multi-district presidents-elect training seminar, and for your support to this district governor. Our next honor goes to past District Governor Robert Nelson, who's the editor of Open Forum, the district's newsletter. Each month, Bob keeps the district on schedule and guides us in our responsibilities to report our district's latest news. Open Forum has become a major method of communication as clubs and organizations in the district take pride in seeing their articles and announcements in print online. Thanks. It's a lot of work. It doesn't always go noted. I appreciate your help. The next award goes with some sincere appreciation to past District Governor Robert Parkinson. Bob, thank you for your service in the 2021 Bylaws Committee, your historical knowledge, your support on the reestablishment and growth of the Rotary Leadership Institute in District 7620, your support in the initiative of the Paul Harris Fellow Rotary Community Scholars Program, first awarded at this conference, and your guidance to the district governor. Thanks, Bob. Past District Governor Raymond Stride, thank you for serving as new club advocate for 2021, a position requested by RI. You have played a significant role in the achievements of our #1 position in our district at the very top of our very top of the zone. We are #1 in membership. Also, thank you for the 9 months work that you did on the bylaws revisions and your support in the initiative of the Paul Harris Fellow Rotary Community Heroes Program, first awarded at this conference. 20 years ago, you set me on the path of district leadership when you asked me to be an area governor. Thank you for your guidance and faith in the leadership of this district governor. And thanks to all 5 of you and others who continue to give of themselves in the district in such a significant and positive way. those members of our COG, Council of Governors. Next, what is an area governor? Well, basically defined, there are 12 Rotarians who support club presidents and carry out the district governor's priorities. They're very important people, and they've worked very hard, but some of them are not returning. They finished their terms, and I'd like to just briefly go through those. Tiffany Ahalt has completed her term as area governor in the Frederick area. It comprises about 20 to 25% of the district's Rotarians. Her clubs are ones that are very large and very old, and then some of them are very new and much smaller. So she's had to be very versatile in dealing with all the clubs in the Frederick area. And we hope that she will take a little time off from her position as area governor and then think about what else she wants to do to serve at the district level. During the year of the pandemic, there's probably no busier person than a physician. AG Bill Du Bois has taken the extra steps to lead his clubs in his area while maintaining an active medical practice and serving as the Vice President of Disaster USA on the Disaster USA board and the Zone 33 Disaster Aid Director. And after being district governor, Ray Stribe stepped in this year to fill a position of area governor. Where he is needed, he will serve. Thanks, Ray. Barbara Thompson is an AG who can tell you how large our district is, but she always travels the distance from Southern Maryland, and she goes the extra mile to support her clubs. Barbara, we appreciate your service. And AG Dawn Whitfield has been serving as a strong and competent advisor in the clubs in her area. She'll be leaving the AG position to chair the district membership committee next year. Dawn will continue in the role of awards co-chair, which she also serves so ably. And Sue Weber, she's completing her 3rd year as area governor. And we wish her well and know that she will be doing many things, even though she's finished that AG role. And also, I'd like to thank the area governors who are continuing their service. That's Suzanne Green, Dolores Edwards Harding, Tamara Okonski, Frank Sink, Mandy Warfield, and Heidi Webb. We thank them all, those who are leaving us and those who are continuing. Thank you. You know, whenever we have some sort of Zoom program or video production, there are people who really stand out as leaders in our district. And one of them is Chris Zabriskie, and he is just a master at pulling these things off with Ashley Waters and Pam Christ and Sue Weber and also Aisha Arliana. The skills that they have demonstrated during the virtual events this year have been astounding. When necessity forced us to use virtual platforms, our district was really miles ahead because of the expertise of these trainers. Also, Chris has helped others learn how to conduct Zoom sessions, be producers, by providing helpful webinars available to all in the district. This group provides support to our virtual events and to our committees, including the 3 new committees that were formed this year. Well, how are committees formed in District 7620? If it's the Environmental Committee you're after, you phone Dr. Christopher Puddock. He will organize an outstanding group of Rotarians, manage a webinar on the environment, and recognize excellence in environmental projects like the new Enviro Awards for Rotary, Rotaractors, and also for Interactors. Also, Chris is the chair of the Rotary International SBRAG, which stands for Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. Thank you for your work for Rotary, Chris. Much appreciated. And how does one begin a DISC or the District International Service Committee? I met Mae O'Brien at the Washington, D.C. Club and Sharon Taylor at the Annapolis Club, and realized that they had very similar ideas about forming a committee to help with international service. The two are excellent, and they've created a district-wide resource network to help Rotarians develop bigger and better humanitarian projects. Every month in the Open Forum, they have the Open Forum newsletter. They promote club international projects and share news about upcoming events. DISC in District 7620 has made phenomenal progress, but just wait until after the pandemic. And congratulations to both of you, Mae and Sharon. And how does a district diversity, equality, and inclusion DEI committee form? Well, Rotaract Chair Monique Toussaint and District Governor nominee designate Dolores Edwards Harding and other very interested Rotarians and Rotaractors helped to set up organizational meetings with all who are interested, Rotaractors and Rotarians in the district. And we have now, I'm very pleased to announce, a chair of the DEI, and that is Kashana Holland. And then Michael Larson is joining her as the co-chair. So that's wonderful. Clubs in the district are already inviting DEI speakers to join them virtually for club meetings. And I want to say just another plug about this. President Colin Holmes, with his board, has agreed to invite Rotarians to visit the Capitol Hill Club on April 27th for a fireside chat with Speaker Marcus Little. The committee has a DEI webinar scheduled for May 22nd, and we would like to invite all to attend. And you do have to register though on DACDB. Now, have you noticed that there's something different about our website? Well, Ashley Waters has played a very significant role in the construction of our new website. She's also the producer of our district conference and helps spread the good news of District 7620 on social media. She also supports our district events with publication materials. We send you a great big thank you, Ashley. Pamela Christ commands one of the district's new initiatives for this year, and it's called Standing Up to Hunger. She works with clubs to expand their programs to address the growing problems of hunger, insecurity within our district, and reports our progress in the zone's Feed 10 Million program. I'm sad to report that Sheldon Ray is leaving his position as Finance Committee Chair in June, but not after he's led the committee to the completion of the first ever District 7620 Finance Committee policies, procedures, and governance, and guiding us through the establishment of the District 7620 Central Maryland and DC Endowment Fund. Thank you, Sheldon, for your leadership. Meet Sharon Taylor of the Annapolis Club, our new treasurer, district treasurer, and member of the Finance Committee. How glad we are, Sharon, that you retired to Annapolis and not to one of those many exotic locations that you love to visit. Besides presenting the financials to the leadership every month and taking care of her other duties as district treasurer, Sharon has been instrumental in the construction of the Finance Committee's policies, procedures, and governance manual, as well as other documents and policy statements to make our district run more smoothly. Sharon has been a steady force as we have updated our district bylaws. We thank her for her hours of work and careless research, and for her friendship and absolute devotion to District 7620. She's a rare find. And also thank you, other faithful members of the district's Finance Committee. There's Eric Dalla Valle, and then Kevin Fries, and Rich Glover, and David Goff from my own Upper Marlboro Club. Jennifer Copa, the membership chair, you may have heard has actually moved out of state, but she's the kind of person who does a lot of work on the internet anyway, and she has agreed to finish up her term as membership chair for 7620. And membership growth, of course, in the zone has been outstanding this year. We are number one, and we came from a very low position last year, so it's really, it's just really astounding, what has happened. Jen has been instrumental in that, as have others, but I really want to cite her too. So I thank you for your tireless efforts, Jen, and have a wonderful time in your new location. And I'm sure that you'll find another Rotary Club that will be welcoming you with open arms. In October, seems like a long time ago now, but all of us appreciated the informative World Polio Day program created by the End Polio Now chairman, Billy Lewis, and his committee. The guest speakers included past district governor from District 7610, Chuck Davison, many of you know, and from the director of the polio eradication at the World Health Organization, Mikhail Zafran. And we were very lucky to have both of those wonderful speakers. The work of the polio committee, though, is not finished because Chairman Billy and his committee continues to support contributions to the End Polio Now campaign through the end of June. The sooner is the better if you're planning to contribute. Marilyn Nevy Cruz, who is our district Interact chair, reports that there are 7 newly chartered Interact clubs this year, making a total of 33. And there are 2 additional clubs where applications are pending. We appreciate Marilyn's hard work to expand our Interact program. It hasn't been easy with schools not being in regular session. Have been very disruptive, but she's managed, as I said, to form 7 new clubs, and they're all active. And we appreciate all the interactors who are at the conference tonight and yesterday. And Marilyn and her RILA committee hope to bring RILA back after the pandemic. That was a disappointment, I know, to many of us, but it's something that just couldn't be helped, but we'll be back. In spite of the suspension of exchanges for 2 years, Rick Meyer, who is our new Rotary Youth Exchange Chair, presents encouraging news about the future of the program. We thank both Marilyn and Rick for presenting timely and informative material during our breakout session. We have 13 Rotaract clubs in our district. Monique, who is the district Rotaract chair I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, notes the difficulties that some of the Rotaract clubs are having during the pandemic, especially those who are working at the college level and they're not attending classes regularly except in a virtual fashion. But she offers support for each and every Rotarian club as they face brighter post-pandemic futures. Most Rotaract clubs are going to be finding new ways to continue their service projects if they haven't done so already. And we commend them for all the efforts that they have been trying to keep things going as best they can. And kudos to both Monique and all the 7620 Rotaractors. And thank you, Kate Dawson, for serving as one of our MCs this afternoon. That's Rotaractor Kate Dawson. Paul Mahata continues to work on Disaster Aid USA as board co-director in in Zone 33, and as the district's domestic disaster chair. Disaster Aid provides relief and humanitarian aid and assistance in the U.S. and worldwide. Paul is joined in his work by District 7620 Rotarians Bill Du Bois, Mary Dudley, and Tito Rocanco. And Bob Grill has moved to 7630, but he was with us today on our calls, on our virtual arrangement that we have. He's moved to 7630, but we know his heart's still with us, and he continues to work on disaster aid. Nomi Hamid of the College Park Rotary Club accepted the job of new club advocate to encourage and support the creation of innovative new clubs. Thank you, Nomi, for your work for the clubs in our district. Sadly enough, Bob Bachma, he is the chair of the Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust, or CART, is going to be retiring after this year. So we'll get those little blue buckets back on the tables as soon as we're able to meet face to face. But the CART program allowed us to examine and experiment with other ways to collect funds whenever those little blue buckets weren't being able to, we weren't able to use them anymore. But I wanted to share with you two interesting facts about the CART program. 100% of the donated funds go to cutting edge Alzheimer's disease research. That's 100% goes to research. And two, as of May 2020, CART has awarded $9.2 million in grants. If you're interested in taking over the CART program or working with someone else to be in a leadership role in the district, please let District Governor-elect Geetha know, or me, because we're interested in continuing that program. Larry Leahy will continue as District Awards Co-Chair with Don Whitfeld, his project partner. We thank them for the special recognition given to the new Enviro Awards. There were many of them. Roxanne Sergard is the Alumni Chair and has been working diligently to organize alumni records and is planning an exciting virtual event in May for alumni and others who are looking for a good club match. So watch for more information about that. And we're hoping that maybe, just maybe, there might be a new alumni club that is formed from that group. I know we all enjoyed Matt May, assisted by Tamara Okonski. In their second year is presenting a virtual Rotaract four-way test speech contest. There's much preparation behind the scenes that goes into that. And it's always entertaining. I think it's become one of our most favorite events to expect at the district conference. So we thank them so very much for that. And although the district global grants scholarship program, chaired by Jennifer Hara, and the district peace scholarship program chaired by Kristen Post, has been affected significantly by flight restrictions and university closures or shifts to virtual classrooms. Changes are expected to shift back to the norm after the pre-COVID. And both Jennifer and Kristen are monitoring their programs closely to adhere to RI regulations. And last, I thank the members of the district executive leadership team. They're very important people, those people on the Delta. I was thinking about this, and as required by RI bylaws, each of the 555 districts around the world has a DELT, and therefore DELTs are some of the most strategic committees of all of Rotary. Joining me on the DELT are District Governor-elect Geetha Jayaram, District Governor nominee Sean McAllister, District Governor nominee designate Dolores Edwards Harding, District Rotary Foundations Chair Rich Glover, District Treasurer Sharon Taylor. We're a strong and dedicated group working for you. Consider this. We have some 62 Rotary clubs, and then when we add Rotary, Rotaract, and Interact all together, we come up with approximately 108 clubs. and close to 3,500 members, all involved in one mission of Rotary. Rotary opens opportunities, and together we have. Be safe and plan to attend the membership seminar and the DEI webinar still to come in this Rotary year. And remember the installation of DGE Geetha Jayaram in late June. I'll be passing things on to someone else. Good evening. Have fun.
Thank you for joining us. Just to let everyone know, all recordings of these sessions, along with the majority of our breakouts, will be available on our Rotary YouTube page, which you can find on our website by tomorrow in case you want to share or rewatch. Thank you again for joining us. Have a good night.